So if you do ask a question and I don't answer or say anything, I'm not ignoring you. You may have to ask it again. Hey, Annie. Good things are happening up in Lonoke County in Arkansas. I'm feeling a lot better. What are you talking about, Lowingo? I'm feeling a lot better about the new judge in the Aaron Spencer case up there. Brandy, you're in Knoxville? I like Knoxville, but I don't like UT at all. But I do like Knoxville. It's a beautiful area, especially on the outskirts and up towards Gatlinburg and stuff through there. Why were you wanting me to get on early? I'm sorry, I didn't see that. I don't have one specific topic for the night. Tonight, there's so much going on and so many different things that we have been discussing and talking about. So I didn't really want to lock into one specific thing tonight. So we'll just see where y'all take us and go from there. Oh, so that's the only reason you wanted me to go live, because you were bored. So if you weren't bored, you wouldn't want to see me live. That figures. Any update on the ramp? Well, somewhat. We know that Karen Wheaton has been served with at least one lawsuit. I suspect there's a lot more coming, but she has been served with at least one. And there's so much information coming in about different things, but some of it I can't really put out yet because I don't want to mess up any of the investigations, obviously. Now, I know a lot of you, in regards to that, I know a lot of you have been asking, why is Samuel not in jail? Well, I do have a good answer for that now, because they are getting all the cases together, SBI, the state, and they're going to present it to grand jury. And I can't remember if they said in May or June, so either this month or next month. And so once they present it to grand jury, then they'll hand out the indictments, and that's when he will be arrested. Hey, Leah, glad you're here. What's up, Aaron? Oh, I do have... Oh, that reminded me. I've got a video of Karen Wheaton from this past weekend that, it'll speak for itself. Let me get it pulled up. So I'd forgotten about that till just then, or I'd already had it ready to go. But it'll show you just how torn up Karen is about all this and how sad she is, and she just won't know what to do. She just doesn't know what to do. I mean, it's just she's going through a rough time right now. And I mean, this video will really show you how rough of a time she is having. All right. This woman is just unbelievable. And not in a good way. She makes me sick. All right, let me get it pulled up. So this is from this past weekend from hold on, let me see exactly. I don't remember what they had going on. I think a kids camp or something, or teenagers camp. Hold on. Oh, this was Ramp University Student Night. Ramp University Student Night. And again, this is going to show you, just get ready. This is going to show you how bad Karen is feeling. And just, I mean, she's got to be so torn up about this stuff happening to these children inside her organization. Like I said, just torn up. I mean, she needs a friend. She needs a good hug or something. No, I don't. I wouldn't consider it a good dance. That's for sure. So let's break this down. in the past 2 months, her second in command, the person that she had literally declared a prophet, the person that was in charge of all her money and the cult's money, and it just so happened to also be her son-in-law, we know she didn't just learn about it, but let's just say that for this sake. She found out that he had openly admitted to SAing at least 2 minors. So for a normal person that didn't really know about this stuff, if it was just your son-in-law, you'd probably be pretty upset, right? Or if it was just your second in command of your entire company, of your business, you'd be pretty upset. I mean, that's a big representative of what you're doing. You put both of those together. Again, for a normal person, that this actually would bother, you'd be extremely upset. Well, this is how upset she is about that. But so she learned about that. And then in the past week, she has been served with a lawsuit from one of these victims. And this is how bad she feels about it. I'll watch it one more time just because. But yeah, I think she probably needs to stick with singing. Probably stay away from dancing. Now, I can't dance either, but that's why you don't see me dancing. But if I was going through what she was going through right now, I wouldn't be dancing anyway. And there are still people out there that are still saying she's a saint. She's a prophet. And we're the devil because we're calling her out. And oh my God. Hold on, I got another comment I saw. Let me bring this comment up. This stuff, this is the kind of stuff that drives me insane. But I saw this comment a few days ago, and it just, this stuff makes me sick. Well, I don't know where it went. Oh, there it is. All right, so as you see, this is from one of the from North Alabama, a Huntsville news that put out that was reporting about Samuel Bentley, her son-in-law, second in command, that had admitted this stuff. And I want you to look at this Janice Bostic's comment. She said, "This young man needs our prayers, not condemnation." Now, Janice, I'll agree that he needs our prayers. But he needs condemnation as well. Again, committing, in my opinion, the worst crime you can commit. Taking the complete innocence from a child. I don't think it gets worse than that. But anyway, let's get back. This young man needs our prayers, not condemnation. God will take care of that. Yes, it is very painful for the children. Yes, it's very painful for the children and Samuel's family. Okay, let's not put Samuel's family in the same sentence as the child victims. Acting as though those are the just as bad is pathetic. Because, yes, I do feel bad for Samuel's family and Samuel's children and any innocent person in his life that had no idea. But I don't feel as bad about them as I do the children victims. Not even close. I feel and pray for all concerned. Please join me in praying for all concerned. We need to remember, if we have children, it could be us. Now, I don't fully understand what she means by that. Like, very confused. But this woman, my God. Yes, it's very painful for the children. Okay, that's an understatement by far, Janice. Yes, it's very painful for the children. No, it's a lot more than painful. It's something that they're going to have to live the rest of their life with. And not only was their innocence completely taken from them, it was taken from them by a church leader, well, alleged church leader, by a ministry leader, by someone that you should be able to go to as a child for help and then them help you, not for them to harm you. And as I said, yeah, Samuel needs our prayers. But Samuel also needs to spend the rest of his life in prison. But this is the reason that more victims don't speak out when this happens to them. Sorry, change the subject very quickly and then we get back to it. But why aren't I at the fundraiser where Nick is speaking if you really want to talk? If I really want to talk to who? Nick is at the Green Top Barbecue. Now's your chance to front him. First off, I say everything I want to say about him. And I don't want to talk to him. Actually, he's probably the last person on earth I want to talk to. So yeah, not interested. Anyway, back to the subject that we're actually talking about. Don't backtrack. Okay, dude, you must be just as big an idiot as him, because I don't think you can comprehend what I'm even saying. Plus, you need to work on your English. It's struggling, but I don't know what I'm backtracking on. So anyway, all right, let's move on. And unfortunately, I'm sure this is not the only comment like this. I'm sure it's not. Yeah, Rainer, whatever, you really need to work on your English before you come back on. So go study English and then you can come back. But come on, man, loud as a motorbike, but won't just a grape in a fruit fight. Either you're having a stroke or you're on something right now. And I hope you're not having a stroke. But that sentence makes absolutely zero sense. Anyway, okay, I promise this time we're back on track. As I said, unfortunately, I know this is not the only comment like this, but this is the stuff that drives me insane. And I wondered if this had happened to Janice's children or grandchildren, if she would say that same thing. Let me go ahead and tell you, no, she wouldn't. And again, show me one place, show me one verse in the Bible that tells us we should not speak out against a child predator. I'll wait. Show me one place in the Bible where it says we should not judge a child predator. I'll wait. But I'll go ahead and break it to you. You're not going to show me those because they don't exist. And you don't even see the irony in you making this statement. About a guy. I'm not going to call him a man because he's not a man. But about a person who was literally using religion, Christianity, and doing it in the name of Jesus Christ, taking these children's innocence from them, committing these absolutely horrible, unforgivable crimes. This man used Christianity to get to his victims, to gain their trust, to gain their family's trust. The whole time doing absolutely horrible things to them. And you have the nerve to say, this young man needs our prayers, not our condemnation. No, Samuel didn't make a simple mistake, Janice. Samuel is what we call evil, literally. You also need to understand that Samuel has a condition, if you want to call it that you can't fix. That so far to date, no amount of prayers, no amount of therapy, no amount of drugs has stopped. Clint said the Bible actually says it's better to tie a millstone around their neck and throw them in the sea than let them stumble a child. Thank you, Clint. There's just so many people. And I'll tell you this, anytime you see someone make the statement, it's not our place to judge, that's God's place. Anytime, if you ever hear someone say that, I can almost promise you they know nothing about the Bible. And I've had to say this so many times in my lifetime that nowhere in the Bible does it say we shall not judge anybody for anything ever. It does not say that. In layman's terms, what it says is we should not judge people based on their appearance, based on the things they have or don't have. The things that are completely out of their control, we don't judge them on that. That's not our job to do. But we are absolutely commanded to judge people based on their actions. And it blows my mind the amount of Christians that don't understand that. And Janice here is one of them. She doesn't understand that. That tells me she probably doesn't know the Bible. I get so sick and tired of these kind of comments. Because people only say that when it's convenient for them. But anyway, I saw that and it just flew all over me. But make sure, and it is our job as Christians, when you hear someone misquote the Bible or misquote God or Jesus, it's our job to correct them in a nice way. But you should correct them. So when you hear somebody make these ignorant statements, correct them. And the Bible's very easy to prove. Just say, okay, show me, where's that verse? What verse is that? Very well put, Katie. Enabling isn't loving. Very well put. And then again, at the same time, you've got Karen out here doing some old white woman dance that nobody wants to see anyway. It's sad and very troubling, the amount of people she has brainwashed. Very troubling. Was you not on here, Katie? For those of you that's already had to see it twice, I apologize, but I want Katie to see this. And there you go. No, because Melody and Katie was late to work. She has the audacity to beg the children to come to the camp ramp. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I did a little short podcast on that, on her freaking video. And pointed out some of her body language on it, where it proves she knows when she's begging people to bring their kids there, that's not what she should be saying. Like, it even makes her uncomfortable. Monica said, if thou wants to continue their life, thou shalt not hurt my babies. That's in Sweeney Lations 187. Very nice. What was she dancing for? I mean, she's just... Nah, I mean, it was for... what did I say? Ramp camp. Ramp University Student Night. That was this past weekend. So, as you can see, she's very torn up about all this. Let me see. I think I have that video still easy to pull up. Let me see.
Oh, I would just love for you to be a part of and bring your...
Oh, yeah. This is the video she made. It was one day last week where she's begging you to bring your children to the summer camps.
Oh, I would just love for you to be a part of and bring your kids.
Did you see her when she said that? And bring your kid, like, she's extremely uncomfortable.
Bring your kids. You know, every summer for the past 25-ish years, we have the youth conferences at the ramp. There's just nothing like it. And you know what makes the difference? It's the presence of God. We have, of course, we do about between 10 and 12 conferences a year, but in this summer, we will do one in June and 2 in July. And it's for young people, I say young people. It's just a lot of young people that love the presence of God. So there's a lot of teenagers, you know, anywhere from the ages, 12 all the way up through into college age, like 25. But I mean, but you know what? Little children come and enjoy it. And my mother's 91, and she probably loves it more than anybody else in the room. And I'm there, so I'm 65. So if you love the presence of God, if you love the presence of God, you will love the ramp. That's what everything focuses on.
So through the rest of this video, just again, watch her body language, and then we'll go back one more time and I'll show you when she brings up the kids. And it's very easy to tell.
Is bringing young people into his presence where they will encounter the real God and find him and his purpose for their life. So if you have children, if you have teenagers, if you have college-age kids or grandchildren or the kids in the youth group at your church, you know what? I'm going to throw up
any kids. They'll take any kids.
Poster thing right now. There's the dates. Look at this, really good. And I will just send you a link to it somewhere in this.
All right, so you saw the rest through the rest of that. So again, watch her again when she
just love for you to be a part of and bring your
watch her eyes go completely away, look completely away from the camera. She does this thing with her hair, pretty much kind of trying to cover her head. She lowers her face, which is when someone is not feeling safe, when they're extremely uncomfortable, they're not going to want to show their neck at all. They're going to try to cover their neck up as much as possible. But again, she hits all these.
Part of and bring your kids. You know, every summer for the past 25-ish years.
And again, you watch the rest of her. Not once did she touch her head again. Did she mess with her hair? And the way she looked away from the camera, and she leaned really down. I mean, again, even she was uncomfortable saying that because I'm probably just out of embarrassment, but she knew I shouldn't be saying this. She's Jesus. The ramp its main campus is in Hamilton, Alabama, which is up in the northwest corner of the state of Alabama, small town. They also have a campus in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and they have a campus in the UK. But the home one and where she is in Hamilton, Alabama. Is my volume okay? Like, can y'all hear me good? Is my volume okay? It keeps on showing me red on my... I don't know why. I just wanted to make sure. Yes. Angel Mom, yes. I sure will. I will be there. Oh, of course. No, I won't miss that. Michael, well, her son-in-law, who was also the second in command, the CFO, finally openly admitted that he SA'd at least 2 minors, and he is now being investigated by the state SBI, the State Bureau of Investigations. And they're going to present all of his cases to grand jury again. I can't remember if it's this month or next, but then the next month. And she has now been served with at least 1 lawsuit from one of the victims. But we know a lot more victims have came out now. We don't know how many, but I do know quite a few more have come out and spoken out as well. But some of them are still... They're not speaking out publicly about it, but I believe that more have spoken to the police, and that's. Let me see how to word it. That's me speculating on that part, but I would bet a lot that's happened. So yeah, somebody is saying that she is wanting to start a campus in Germany. Anybody that's been to Germany or spending time there, I'm telling you, the police there, law enforcement, don't mess around. I don't think that's smart for her. They're different. I saw a guy. Now this has been 15 years ago, at least. But I saw a guy. I was in Germany, and I saw a guy just curse at a German police, and about 4 of them came out of nowhere with these sticks, these like wooden sticks, and beat that guy. I mean, and all the Germans were just walking by like nothing was going on. Like you could tell they're completely used to that. But that taught me then, I'm like, I'm never going to say anything. I'm not even going to look at them wrong. I mean, it was crazy. And because I was in law enforcement in the United States at that time, and but I was on military orders at that time. But I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my God. And you could tell they're just used to that. So I wouldn't cross them over there. I wouldn't mess around with the police over there. Now, the UK, completely different. But I think she's going to. I think if she goes over to Germany messing around, they may get her good. Which, hopefully. But again, I think the way to get her is to take her money. Natalie, are you talking about the Samuel Bentley at the ramp? It's already been investigated. It's actively being investigated right now. And that's one reason I'm not going to, there are other details that I know here and there, but I'm not going to, I don't want to say anything that would even possibly mess up the current investigation. And so I'm very careful and have to be very careful about that stuff. But because I've gotten tons of new information, but most of it I don't feel comfortable sharing yet until the investigation is over and all that stuff. You have a German police officer friend here on Facebook who will say otherwise. Say otherwise what? Oh, you're not disagreeing with what I said. Okay. You're agreeing with what I was saying. Yeah. No, I'm telling you, it was the craziest thing I'd ever seen. And it was so bad. I kept on walking. I was like, I can't watch this guy just get beat to death. No, you do not mess around in Israel. No, you don't mess around in Israel. They do not put up with anything. Yeah, I saw your next one, Nina. I was just making sure. Samuel Bentley's father was a longtime judge in Marion County. He is since retired, but when I had Rodrigo Burgo on the podcast, and you can go watch that full podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. It's really good. But he was a previous staff member, previous student from Ramp University, and a previous staff member. And he tells some. It's heartbreaking, the things that he talks about, the way that the students there are treated, and he was also, he told us about a story about when he first met Judge Bentley, Samuel's dad, and it was him and his, I can't remember if it was his brother or cousin, but everybody was calling them Hispanic, and they're not even Hispanic, but they're brown skin, and so they just called them Hispanics, which is ignorant in the first place. But the first thing that Judge Bentley said to him was, I'm going to misquote it, so don't quote me exactly. Again, it's in the podcast, but he said something like, I know your kind likes to grape our young girls, but don't do that around here because we'll lock you away forever. It was horrible. I mean, extremely racist. And he said he just said it right to their face. Right to their face. And that everybody sitting at the table with the judge just laughed about it. He said it made him feel so uncomfortable. I mean, it was horrible. So that tells you a little bit of what Samuel was raised by. And I am not saying that Judge Bentley is a child predator. I'm not saying that. I will say a lot of times, and not every time, but a lot of times, someone that ends up being a child predator was unfortunately abused as a child. Now, again, I'm not saying that's what happened in that case, but I'm saying it's a decent possibility. And it would not surprise me at all. Oh, really, Angela? Yeah, I would like to hear that. Unfortunately, it doesn't surprise me, but yeah, I'd like to hear what happened there. That's sick. Hey, Jennifer, how are you? John needs to be investigated too. There's probably a lot more up there that need to be investigated. I mean, we know. Here, I want to show their faces as much as possible. So we have Samuel here, who is the one we were talking about. Again, Karen's son-in-law, and was also her CFO, was also someone she literally declared a prophet, and that she put in charge of, I mean, probably at this point, he's been over thousands of children. And there's been people making allegations about him for well over 20 years. Well over 20 years. And again, a man doesn't wake up one day and decide he's going to start being a child predator. That doesn't happen. If they're 50 years old and a child predator, they were a child predator at 20. Now, Samuel has now admitted to SAing at least 2 minors. So we have him. We have Mr. Chase Cantrell, who was a pastor, a staff member at the ramp. And he was also a teacher at, as you see there, at Winston County, and was arrested and convicted, subsequently convicted of engaging in that activity with a student. So again, you will not convince me that he was only doing this at the school but wasn't doing it at the ramp. So then we have Mr. Andrew High, who was on staff at the ramp, who was in charge of the dance team, whatever they call them, and was also in charge of some children's summer camps. And we know Karen Wheaton herself told a person that had and I can't remember if it was a child or grandchildren that attended the ramp. She told that person, hey, don't send your children to the summer camp with Andrew. Meanwhile, she had him in charge of children. So she knew there was a problem. And then at some point, all of a sudden, Andrew is gone from the ramp. Nobody knew why. He just one day wasn't there anymore. So he had moved to another ministry. And less than a month at this other ministry, less than a month after he left the ramp, he was caught essaying a minor, charged, and convicted, and is literally in prison right now. Now, again, are we to believe that he just decided to be a child predator once he moved to this other ministry? No. We know he was a child predator when he was at the ramp, on staff, in charge of children's camps. And we know Karen knew this, or she would not have told I think it was a doctor actually, hey, don't send your kids to that camp with Andrew. So that's number 3. And we have, this is Bobby Cook. And this man has not been charged with anything, but I feel so confident because I've spoken to 2 of his victims. I feel so confident in saying Mr. Bobby Cook is a child predator. Because again, these people I talked to didn't make up their stories, and this guy's sick. He is a major donor to the ramp. He also owns, I believe, a restaurant. And he would invite the college students, the ramp college students, not really a college, it's fake college, but to his house and feed them because he knew most of them didn't have money to buy food. And he would lure them over to his house and cook them big meals. And then when the night was over, he would always talk 1 or 2 of them into staying. and it would go from there. This is a sick POS right here. And they all gave me the same reason of, why does Karen allow this? Because he's a big donor. In fact, we were told we're not to say anything about him. Yeah. Then we have Mr. Stephen Tyler Jordan, who goes by Tyler, but as soon as these allegations came out, changed his Facebook name to Stephen, like that was going to throw somebody off. And we watched a whole video on here one night of one of his victims speaking out and giving very specific details of an incident with him. And I've also spoken personally with another one of his victims. I've not spoken to the one that made the video, but I've spoken to a different victim of Mr. Tyler Jordan. And I know you won't believe this, but as of 2 weeks ago, unless something's changed in the last 2 weeks, he is still on staff at the ramp. Still on staff at the ramp. So this is Karen Wheaton. She knows now. I mean, she's known, but just follow me here. She can't deny knowing what Samuel has been doing now. And now there's been very, very public allegations against Stephen Tyler Jordan, and she's allowing him to still be on staff. You know what that's called? That's called thinking you're untouchable. And Karen thinks she's untouchable. Still on staff. And again, Tyler at this point has not been charged with anything yet. But I'm not going to say something that's going to get me sued. So I feel very confident in calling him a child predator. In fact, let's play that video of his victim just so you can hear. And trigger warning, by the way, because this is this is sick stuff, but people need to know what's going on. I mean, obviously, we're not talking about this because we enjoy talking about it, but people need to know what's going on.
Another essay.
Oh, no, that's not it. It's a different video. Hold on. Oh, this is a good time while I'm looking for this. I got to start playing my commercials. I keep forgetting. So I'm going to take a quick break and play a few commercials, and then I will be back with that video. Hey guys, you all know how health conscious I am. I haven't had a single carbonated drink in over 20 years because I'm extremely careful about what I put into my body. So when I tell you I'm partnering with Dubby, you know it's the real deal. I will never partner with any brand that I don't use myself. Dubby is zero sugar, jitter-free, crash-free, no artificial dyes or colors, none of that garbage. Just clean energy that actually tastes incredible. I've been drinking it every day, and I'm genuinely impressed. If you want to upgrade your energy too, use my code agent D Baker for 10% off. Link in bio. Go be better with me. Before you open your door, pause. Did you check the back seat? Meet Clever Ellie, a simple, affordable plug-in that helps you build the life-saving habit of checking your back seat every single time you exit your vehicle. Just plug it into your car's 12-volt socket. When you turn off the engine, Clever Ellie plays a clear voice reminder to check your back seat. With 10 varied voice messages in different tones, your brain doesn't tune it out. It keeps the reminder in your conscious awareness so the habit sticks. That is the main difference between this device and any others that do this same thing. Clever Ellie works with all modern cars that have a standard 12-volt socket. If your car keeps power on after shutdown, like when the radio stays on, no problem. Every order includes an easy-to-install door sensor that triggers the reminder as soon as the driver's door opens. No 12-volt socket? They've got you. You can use the compact USB adapter. And yes, Cleverly doubles as a practical car charger with both USB-A and USB-C ports and ongoing improvements in charging speeds. Other systems can be expensive, complex, require professional installation. Clever Ellie focuses on human habit formation using varied voice prompts to enhance your memory, not replace it. There are no fees, no subscriptions ever. They are not for profit, dedicated to child safety and awareness. Even if your car already has a reminder, you can still benefit. Or gift Cleverly to grandparents or anyone without a newer vehicle. Plug in peace of mind. Build the habit. Protect what matters. Get Clever Ellie today at cleverellie.com and join our mission to prevent hot car incidents. Use discount code DEREK, D-E-R-E-K, to receive a free USB charging cable. Just click on the link listed in the video description and get your Clever Ellie today. Make sure to use discount code DEREK, D-E-R-E-K, at checkout. All right. Again, trigger warning. Not the most fun thing to talk about and to hear, but again, this is and again, this is the Mr. Steven Tyler Jordan that is still on staff.
November of 2012, I was a first-year student at the Ramp School of Ministry. I had just turned 18 years old on September 5th, a couple weeks after school officially started, and I was elated to be another year older. But my time at RSM was a lonely time. With the strict rules in place, I was not allowed to talk with my best friend at the time because she was a female, and we were not allowed to text or contact each other without being in a crowd of mixed gender. I ended up becoming friends with this third-year alumni named Tyler. He had attended the first and second years of RSM, and now he was on staff for the church under said third-year alumni title, and we hit it off. We related to each other over media and tech, since he was working directly under Brad for the church's media team. On a Thursday, a week or so after my birthday, I invited him to stay the night with me at the Animal House. We shared my twin-size bed, which was in a shared bedroom with my roommate, Gabriel. I was abruptly awoken at around 2 a.m. by Tyler's hand on my head, shoving my face to his groin. In my sleepy state, I was not fully aware of what was going on, and my face brushed against his hardened pit. I immediately jumped out of bed, grabbed my phone, and ran to the bathroom, where I had a panic attack and called one of my good friends back at home. After a few minutes, my roommate Gabriel came and knocked on the bathroom door and asked me if I was okay. I was a panicking, emotional mess, and Gabriel decided to go and get our RA from downstairs. While Gabriel was out, Tyler came to the bathroom door and apologized and said he was asleep and he didn't know what he was doing. He then left, and the RA of Animal House came upstairs and had me go to the living room. I brought my Bible and began reading while trying to calm myself down, and my RA contacted a head of leadership. He informed me that in the morning they were going to contact Tyler and get to the bottom of this. In the meantime, I had my RA contact my mother and let her know what had happened. I remember how scared I was when this all went down, because I was afraid I was going to be kicked out of the RSM program due to the actions performed against me. After phone calls were made, I went back to my room and laid in bed until the next morning. Friday morning was a numb blur for me. I remember going to the morning prayer and then going back to my house. Normally, we would have had class, but that weekend was a weekend conference, so we were permitted to not have class in prep for the conference. I was given special permission due to the circumstances to not be at the conference, and I decided to drive the nearly 2 hours back to my parents' home. The weekend passed uneventfully, without anyone from RSM contacting me or my mother with details for what had happened. We decided to go to the Sunday night ramp church service to find leadership and ask if anything had been done. We were informed that unfortunately nothing had been done yet, because the gentleman who was above the RAs, I cannot remember his name, was busy all weekend with lawn service work in preparation for the conference. This obviously was not the answer we were looking for, but we were invited by Casey Doss to visit him the next day, Monday, in his office to discuss everything. The following day, we met with Casey Doss, where he heard my side of the story and informed us that Tyler denied doing what happened, saying that he was asleep. Casey also drilled into me about why I had allowed another guy to sleep in the same bed with me. In the end, I decided to leave RSM.
Don't miss that part he just said. Or they just said. He or she, I don't even know. I think it's a male. That one of the church leaders he went to immediately victim blamed him. Asking him, why would you allow a guy in your room? Okay, allowing a guy in your room doesn't give that guy any right to touch you.
Denied doing what happened, saying that he was asleep. Casey also drilled into me about why I had allowed another guy to sleep in the same bed with me.
Casey also drilled into me about why did I have a guy sleep in the same bed with him. All through high school, all through college, especially in college, I would have a bunch of my friends from my hometown come to Alabama, where I was in college, and they would just sleep everywhere. I've slept in the same bed with numerous of my friends. The fact that this church leader, that's where their mind went, tells you a lot about the entire culture there. It just,
In the end, I decided to leave RSM, and Casey Doss that day had a check signed refunding the tuition costs back to me. I then went back to the animal house, packed up my car with my stuff, and then moved back home, leaving the ramp in Hamilton behind. Nearly a decade later, Tyler reached out to me through Facebook and tried to initiate.
Make sure you don't miss this either.
Tyler reached out to me through Facebook and tried to initiate conversation with me while he was in the shower. He had sent unsolicited photos, and I immediately blocked him.
So after all that, after Tyler was confronted, it still didn't stop him. And later on, down the road, he tried contacting him again and sent him unsolicited, unwanted, illicit pictures of himself in the shower. And this guy is still on staff there. And does anyone here believe that Karen Wheaton hasn't seen this video? Of course she has. This is the culture we're dealing with at the ramp. And this is a culture that Karen Wheaton has created and now built up for years. And again, we have at least 5 known predators that have been a part of that culture. At least 5 known ones. You'll never convince me that's the only ones. Not with a culture like that. Now, I personally have received allegations for at least 2 other ones, but I don't know how credible they are, so I'm not going to call them out or anything until I have more evidence. But again, we have at least 5 that we know of. And instead of Karen Wheaton trying to fix this problem, which we know she hasn't tried to fix it for 20 years now, she's out doing her little dance.
You all know how health conscious I am.
Hold on.
I've had a single carbonated drink in over 20 years.
Well, y'all are lucky. I was going to show the dancing video one more time, but I've already taken it down. But instead of trying to fix this problem, Karen Wheaton is only worried about her money. So instead of trying to fix the problem, she's making videos literally begging people to bring their children to camps this summer. Any children, grandchildren, nieces, nephews. We just need children. And doing her old white woman dance. Oh, thank you, Melissa. Yes, and selling off properties, liquidating things. Because I think Karen knows now. I think she knows the end is coming. And I'm telling you what she's going to do. She's going to sell as much as possible and liquidate as much as possible. And then she's going to get out of Dodge. And everyone else that's dedicated probably half their life to her and the ramp is going to be left in the dust. I promise you that. Watch and see. If you know anyone, whether it's your friends, family, neighbors, that has children, and they have ever sent their children to the ramp or are even thinking about it now, tell them absolutely not. You can send them to my podcast and Rodrigo Burgos page. Watch his videos. I mean, there's a bunch. Haley Beard's videos. But you need to stress to them how serious this is and that under no circumstance should they allow their children to go there. Teenagers, nothing. Because again, right now there is still one of these child predators on staff. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Nancy. That's a good point. So, hold on. Let me bring it up because I don't remember.
Oh, I would just...
Hold on. What was the dates? So, I've still got to check my calendar to be sure, but I'm going to start putting this out when I really get it set. But I've got to go up there and I got to find out if we got to get any, permits or anything, because I want what we do to be completely legal, and it will be peaceful. But I am planning on either the June 25th through 27th or July 9th through 11th of us having a peaceful protest outside the ramp. That's when she's going to have these summer events. And again, if we do it, it will be 100% peaceful. So if you have anything else in mind, do not come, because I will not put up with anything other than peaceful. But again, I got to see if there's any permits we need or whatever, because we're going to do it right. But I think we need to do that. And again, when I get it fully set in stone, we'll promote it and get as many people out there as possible to show that there are tons of people in this state of Alabama and others that do stand against child predators. And we need to make that very well known to Karen that we're not going to go away. We're not going to shut up. Because I'm not going to shut up and stop until she and the ramp is completely shut down. Could Karen be arrested for co-conspirator or failure to report? I mean, it's possible. It depends. I don't know how many other victims have now gone to the police, to SBI, and what their allegations are or anything. It's definitely possible. I do fully believe that the lawsuits against her from these victims are going to be successful. I know for a fact even though somebody on my live the other night no, Karen definitely did not know before this. No, I have the proof myself. I'm not going to show it because it involves one of the previous victim that I'm obviously not going to name or anything. I have the proof myself. Karen Wheaton has paid off at least one previous victim that was at least 2 years prior to Samuel coming out in the last 2 months. Yep. So anyone that believes Karen when she says she didn't know about any of this until Samuel came out 2 months ago, she is lying, and there is full factual proof of that. That hopefully when all of this is said and done will probably be shown and come out. But it's there. So a lot of the members of the ramp I do feel sorry for, because we have to understand that a lot of them are victims themselves. They just don't realize it yet. They've been brainwashed, and hopefully they realize it sooner than later. But, I mean, brainwashing is real. And someone that's a great communicator like Karen Wheaton can very easily brainwash a lot of people, as you see. Just like any previous big cult leader. That's one thing that they're all big cult leaders are great communicators. They just use it for bad. They're great leaders. They just use it for bad. But they can very easily brainwash a lot of people. They are master manipulators. Just as most child predators. Master manipulators. Like someone on the live within the last 2 weeks said they knew, like, there is no way that anyone still at the ramp or was previously at the ramp in leadership was ever involved in being a child predator. And I asked them one question. And I said, I want you to be honest with me. Did you think Samuel was a child predator? Well, no, I would have never guessed that. Thank you. But people can't put it in their brains and put it together to understand. Hold on. Well, I would have never thought Samuel was, but he is. So maybe I'm wrong about some others. Yeah, you need to understand that. But great cult leaders are very charismatic, great communicators, great leaders, and master manipulators. They have all those things in common. Because to get a lot of people following you, you have to be good at those things. And as you've heard me say before, everybody is a leader. But you have to decide if you're going to be a good ethical leader or moral leader, or if you're going to be a bad leader. Because the one-word definition of leadership is influence. And every single one of us influence people. Some of us influence more than others, but every single one of us has a very big influence on different people. We need to understand that. We need to realize that. And we have to decide, are we going to be a good influence or a bad influence in life? I truly don't think Karen started out as this evil POS she is. I think at some point she got the taste for money and she loved it, and here we are. Because everything I get from Karen, this is all about money to her. Because everywhere you turn, she's making a dollar. And again, it's sad because she would be a great business person. I mean, she could run a hell of a business, a private business, and probably make a lot of money at it. But she chose to use Christianity and do it in the name of Jesus Christ to fraud people out of millions and millions of dollars. And then we had somebody on the live the other night that said, I don't know why you're saying Karen's wealthy. She's not rich. Anyone says that must be a billionaire. However much money you think Karen has made and brought in over the last 20 years, times that by 10, and then you'll probably be at the real amount. This woman has brought in so much money. It's crazy. And then to find out, allegedly, they're in debt now. That cult shouldn't be in debt. My God, that's crazy that they're in debt. Where's all this money gone? Now, we know a lot of it has gone to Karen and her family. Just go drive around her property. She's got 3 or 4 houses on her property. The house she lives in is very nice. This is beautiful property. I mean, it's beautiful. And there's no telling how much money she has in it. There's no telling how much money she has put into that. But there's still a lot of missing money. And I guarantee you Perry Stone has something to do with that as well. I guarantee you. Can't Tyler be arrested for sending the video? Well, yeah, if the victims felt comfortable to speak out public, to go to the police. But keep in mind, at least one of the victims that spoke out against Samuel publicly, like 2 years ago, was ostracized and called the devil and evil. The entire community was against her, made her life a living hell. Only for 2 years later for him to finally admit it. I don't put Karen in a new Ford. What are you talking about? I'm confused. Exactly, Bailey. Bailey said that's why we don't speak up. Exactly. And like I've said, I will always encourage a victim to speak out and to go to the police, but I will never judge one for not. Ever. Because It's not easy. And it will affect your life a lot. Like I said, go back and look at some of the comments that when one of these victims spoke out publicly 2 years ago. Look at what people were saying about them. I mean, it was horrible. And do you think any of those people are running back now to that victim's social media pages saying, you know what, I'm sorry, I apologize? No. And victim blaming, we are professionals at victim blaming in this country. And it drives me freaking insane. I mean, just like one of the church leaders at the ramp told Stephen Tyler Jordan's victim, he started victim blaming him. Why was another guy in your bed? What? If I'm standing beside a victim that tells someone what happened and they look at them and say, why'd you let them in your bed? I'm probably going to knock their teeth down their throat. Because I don't think I could hold it back at that point. I really don't think I could. It drives me insane. Those are the same people that when a girl gets raped, that sit around and go, well, look what she was wearing. I don't care what she was wearing. That doesn't justify anyone being able to touch her without her permission. Like, I can't even comprehend having that mindset. It's crazy. I mean, it's mind-blowing. It is never the victim's fault, especially when you're talking about a child victim. I mean, that's part of what's happening in Lonoke County, Arkansas in the Aaron Spencer case. There were people up there literally blaming Aaron Spencer's 13-year-old daughter because a 67-year-old man was SAing her. A 67-year-old man SAing a 13-year-old. And there were people up there, including the district attorney, Chuck Graham, the prosecutor, blaming her, saying she came on to him. Are you freaking kidding me? She called him. It's nuts. A 12-year-old, 13-year-old, 14-year-old, 15-year-old, 16-year-old can never, let me be clear, can never, ever, under any circumstance, be blamed if a grown person SAs them. Under no circumstance is it ever their fault in any way whatsoever. A grown man has absolutely no business. Oh, I ain't even, y'all get my point. But all of these are why more victims don't speak out. And then you know what the ironic part is? Those same victim blamers are the same ones that say when somebody speaks out 10 years later, why didn't they come out when it happened? They don't even see the irony in that. They're so ignorant, they don't understand it. You're the reason they didn't. People like you. Wanted to now we're changing lanes a little bit here, but just the victim blaming that is made me think of it. This POS in the blue shirt was the Cordova police chief at this time. And this female sitting in the chair is an 18-year-old. 18. He's late 40s or maybe even early 50s. 18-year-old, straight just out of high school. Just graduated high school, her first job as a dispatcher. First job. 18 years old. She's alone in this room, and the police chief, which is her boss, and to most people, especially an 18-year-old, a lot of authority, walks in and does this. And the video, I've seen the video with her face not blurred out, but we've got it blurred now because to protect her. She is disgusted. He rubs his area on her. She pulls her head back. That doesn't get him off. He just leans in more. Right over the top of her. She's not moving. She is frozen. So understand, our limbic system has either fight, flight, or freeze. When we are faced with something serious, we're going to do one of those three things: fight, flight, or freeze. She's froze. Watch her. She doesn't move because she's already pushed him off and he's come back. Now he grabs her head in that motion. She slaps at him. And again, she wasn't smiling. Do you know how many people victim blamed? Anyone with any sense watch that video, especially when her face blurred out. But I mean, it doesn't matter with her face blurred out. You can see She doesn't want any part of this. But here's a man who is 30 years older than her, and literally the police chief with a firearm and a badge on him right then, and is her boss. And she still has the courage to push him away multiple times and to slap him away. And that's a lot of courage. Because a lot of people would have probably been in her situation, her age, would have probably been scared to even do that. But she had that courage. And the mayor of the city himself victim blames. He put out a statement. I've got to find that statement again. Team, remind me, because I keep wanting to show it and then I can't. I don't know what happened. I don't know what I did with it, but we got to find that statement again. But he put out a public statement. I mean, victim blaming her. And saying flesh is weak. Nobody wants to be put in a position like Jason was there. That's what he says. That's what the mayor said. Like, what? They didn't fire him. They let him resign. And then Jason Hare's own wife, because just recently, and I'm not going to go back through all this because I know I just talked about it the other night. Just recently, Nick Smith was going to hire him back as a deputy. Sure was. After all of that. Because Nick Smith had him as a SRO before that. That's where he worked for Nick Smith in Walker County Sheriff's Office as an SRO before he was the police chief at Cordova. So Nick Smith was going to hire him back. And a bunch of us raised hell over that and made it we were very, very vocal in what was about to happen. And luckily it didn't because of that. But Jason Hare's own wife, when that was going on, gets online and makes a post pretty much telling us to feel sorry for them. That he has to make money. I mean, he has to make money for their family. That's fine. He can't make it in law enforcement anymore, though. That man has no business wearing a badge ever again. And the fact that a post still lets him have a certification, which we're trying to fix that right now. And I kind of think we probably will, to where they pull a certification. But the fact they didn't pull a certification after that is a big problem. But Nick Smith was going to hire him back. And again, the victim blamers were out strong. Well, we don't know what was being said. I don't care what was being said. Her body language told us all we needed to know. And people said, well, she probably flirted with him before. You're the police chief. You have no business being inappropriate with any of your employees ever, because you have direct supervision over them. And that's never okay. Ever. And you're almost 50 years old, and you do that to an 18-year-old that works for you? The guy's a child predator. And again, you're never going to convince me that he wasn't a child predator when he worked as an SRO. You're not going to convince me he didn't mess with some students. And they were probably too scared to say anything. They're in Walker County, number one. And anybody in Walker County has a legit excuse about why they didn't go to the police. Oh, that brings me to the next. Let's talk about this while we're on that. Yep, it's a good time to talk about this. So quickly, and I talked about this the other day a little bit, but I'm going to break this down for everyone that's not fully aware of this. And I'm putting out a podcast in the next day or so on this, a full podcast on it too. It'll be very detailed, but breaking down a serious and disturbing lawsuit happening right now in Walker County, Alabama. It involves the county's elected coroner, a church, a sheriff, and very serious allegations of child SA. And let me just explain everything in plain, simple terms so anyone can understand this. Joey Vick is the elected coroner of Walker County, Alabama. He used to be a pastor at some churches in the area. In March of 2026, he filed a lawsuit against several people, including Ivy Trotter, a young woman who says Vick SA'd her when she was a minor. In fact, when she was 14 years old. Vick says that Ivy Trotter made up false accusations against him. He claims her Facebook post from April 2025, where she publicly accused him of SA, was completely made up and ruined his reputation, and he is suing her for defamation, libel, and slander, and some other things. He also sued the Church of God, church officials, and another man named Ryan Cagle, which, from what I can get, is involved with the church, but I'm still trying to figure out exactly where he stands in that. But Vick accuses the church and its leaders of mishandling the situation and making statements that hurt him after he surrendered his ministerial credentials. Because as soon as these allegations came out about him, he immediately resigned from being a minister or pastor at the church. Immediately. And stated, I just don't have the energy to fight these allegations. You've been accused of the most, in my opinion, the most serious crime you could be accused of, and you don't have the energy to fight the allegations. No, he went away and hoping that would just quieten it down. Because he didn't have the energy to fight the allegations, but then he has the energy to sue the victim. Yeah, none of that makes sense. But he claims that the church did not properly support him and that their response, including a recorded phone call, damaged his name. And if anybody has this recorded phone call, please let me know because I'm trying to find it and I haven't found it yet. Now, Ivy Trotter's side of the story, and make sure you're paying attention because this is about to get very deep and crazy. Trotter strongly denies lying, and she says everything she posted in that Facebook post is 100% true. She claims that Joey Vick SA'd her multiple times, starting when she was around 14 years old. Also, she stated, well, I'll just show y'all her Facebook post, the Facebook post that we're talking about in a minute. But the alleged incidents happened on church property, near or in Vick's coroner's office, which was connected to the church, and in secluded hunting sheds. Now, Trotter added a very troubling detail. When she was just 13 years old, her father passed away. He died. As soon as that happened, Vick stepped into her life. He approached her because she went to that church where he was a minister and told her she would need a father figure and that he would be that person for her. She says he immediately began grooming her while she was still grieving the death of her own father. That's exactly what child predators do. She describes specific acts, including inappropriate comments, groping her all over her body, forcing her to sit in his lap, grinding against her with an erection, and more. She said she told her older sister, I think, and best friend about the abuse not long after it happened. And she posted on Facebook the years later because she learned the abuse may still be going on, and she wanted to protect other girls. And so after Vic filed his lawsuit against the victim and the church, then Trotter, the victim, filed a counter lawsuit against Vic. And this is just in the past week. And she's suing him for essaying and battery, assault, intentional infliction of emotional distress, defamation, and abuse of process. She says Vic is using this lawsuit to punish her, silence her, and scare other victims from speaking out. That's exactly what he's doing. Now, the Walker County Sheriff, Nick Smith's connection. This is where this just gets more concerning because of Vic's close friendship with Nick Smith. And Trotter says one reason she never reported the abuse to police is because she feared the sheriff, Vic's best friend. She feared he wouldn't investigate or retaliate against her. And that's a very legitimate fear. And I'm about to show you proof of why. After Vic filed the lawsuit against Trotter, Sheriff Nick Smith posted on social media. Hold on, I've got that. Well, I'll show it when I show the other stuff in just a second. I can't find it right there. But this is what... Hold on. Now, let me go ahead and show it. That way you see it with your own eyes. There we go. So as soon as Joey Vick filed this lawsuit against the victim, this is what Nick Smith posted. Well, it looks like the fake account's identities will be brought to light through the legal system over the next few months. Can't wait to find out who X100 really is. So instead of focusing on the serious child SA allegations against his good friend and that county's coroner, elected official, Nick Smith was more excited that the lawsuit would expose or possibly expose some anonymous online critics. And this is full proof the sheriff is more interested in retaliating against Vic's critics and his critics than investigating the accusations, because all this happened in Nick Smith's county, and he still to this day, as far as we know, has not investigated it at all. He's more worried about finding out who some freaking fake Facebook accounts belong to. And why is he so worried and dying to find out? So he can retaliate against them. That's the only thing that makes sense. We have fake accounts come up all the time talking crap and making up stuff and messaging me threats. I just delete them and move on. I don't pay any attention to them. I'm not going to waste any time trying to figure out who they belong to because I don't care. But that's Nick Smith's biggest worry. So yeah, were her fears legit? Absolutely. And Smith made that very clear. And that post wasn't up long. Not long after he posted it, Nick Smith quickly took the post back down. Luckily, our good friend Amber with Secrets True Crime had screenshotted it before he took it down. But I figure he took it down after somebody in his corner probably said, you know what? That's a pretty stupid thing to post. You probably should take that down. The elected coroner, who was also a pastor, is accused of essaying a grieving 14-year-old girl and using his position of trust to do it. And instead of the sheriff's office investigating, the alleged victim is now being sued by her abuser. And the sheriff is cheering that suit on. I mean, this is Nick Smith as it gets. There have now been at least 3 alleged victims of Joey Vick speak out publicly. At least 3. And that's another video. Let me show you this post. So I'll show you Ivy Trotter's post that she made. Oh, my team found the phone call. Awesome. We'll listen to that in a minute then. Yeah, here's her post that she made back in this is April 6, 2025. I've debated on sharing this for a long time, but I think I owe it to myself and other victims to share my story. I started going to church when I was 11 years old. My mom's family attended and preached there, so it felt like home and a safe space for me. My dad had struggled with addiction for years. He and my mom got divorced when I was 12. My dad died when I was 13 years old. I was in a very bad and vulnerable state after dealing with his addiction and him passing. Our preacher at the time, Joey Vick, saw that and told me I would need a father figure in my life, so he wanted us to be closer. He would take me hunting, take me to football games, and get me to come over and swim at his house. I was 14 years old when he SA'd me. He did it multiple times when we were alone. I didn't really understand what was happening. I just knew how uncomfortable it made me. I told my family, and we stopped going to his church. I'm now 23 years old, and I'm bringing this up now because I know I'm not the only one. I've learned that it wasn't just me. I've now talked to multiple women who are also victims of Joey. I'm not just sharing my story for me, but for them. I hope that I can give other victims the courage to speak up also. It's something that wrecked my self-esteem, and it's taken me a long time to realize I didn't deserve what he did to me, and other victims didn't deserve it either. That's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. Hmm. Now, I'm going to play. What in the world? There it is. All right, let me bring. This is a video put out by one of his other victims recently. Oh, not that. There we go. All right, I think we should be good now.
And happy Monday. It's chilly today. It's like kind of raining, kind of not. There's gonna be no sunshine, so it's cold. So I had to wear my cute little Easter. You know how I love these cute little. I'll forever love them. I don't care. Anyways, yesterday I was over on the Book of Faces. I saw where this true crime podcast that I'm friends with where she has exposed a lot of things going on in Walker County, Alabama. County's right below me, like 10 minutes from that county line. Anyways, grew up there. My dad's been a cop there my whole life in that county. Different agencies, blah, blah, blah. Always known about Walker County and how grimy.
Hold on, is that the right one?
The Walker County Mafia. Anyways, it's just, they're
Hold on, I'm sorry. I think it's this one.
Good morning, happy Monday. It's chilly today. It's like kind of raining, kind of not. There's gonna be no sunshine, so it's cold. So I had to wear my cute little Easter. You know how?
Oh, that's the same one.
Little,
Okay, I guess this is the right one.
different agencies, blah blah blah. Always known about Walker County and how grimy and the Walker County Mafia. Anyways, it's just there's good people in Walker County. There is, but sometimes the bad and the bad that's went on throughout the years really outweighs the good. Anyways, and I saw where she had shared a post from a young lady, and I was reading it, and I just got sick. I just felt so sorry for this girl. She'd finally got up enough courage, brave enough to call out, he's a piece of shit, but he really is a pillar of the community. Always been in law enforcement, a preacher, coroner, you know, someone that the community looks up to, and oh, do they put on a show. When I read his name, my stomach just sunk, you know, because all, like I commented, all the true stories I could tell on this person since I was 16 years old. He was my daddy's friend. They were cops together. And when I turned 16, I was around him a lot. And he'd always say and do and touchy-feely, and, you know, you just laugh it off. And I have no answer. No reason. I'm not gonna cry. Why I always went back. You know, I blame myself. No is a word. You didn't have to, Brandy. But it was the attention. Let's just be honest. Oh, please. And up until I had Landis, I saw him a lot. And again, a preacher. Me and we went to his church, and me and Mother walk in one Sunday, and Landis maybe was 5 months old. I don't remember. She was little. And he came up to me and Mama, and he put his arm around Mama and looked at me and touched Landis. And he said, you know, Brandy, she's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you. But it's crazy that she don't look nothing like me. Mother looked at me and he just walked off. Well, that was the last time my mother, I'd went back. Last time my mother stepped foot in that church. Anyways, nobody ever says anything. Like, there's rumors and the secrets and how he's always done. But nothing ever happens to him because one son-in-law is a very crooked, good lawyer. The position.
By the way, his son-in-law just so happens to be Nick Smith's lawyer.
He's always been in. And he knows how, like, he's got the way that he speaks. The way that he speaks, silver tongue devil. I swear he's the devil. Look, one of the last times I was ever around him.
Listen to this.
Forget.
Make sure.
He looked at me. And he always called me pretty girl. You know, pretty girl. It's kind of sad that I could have my way with you. I could be good to you, nice to you, mean to you, treat you any which way that I want to. There's really nothing you can do about it. I was like, what? He goes, let's just be honest, pretty girl. No one's going to believe a junkie over someone like myself. And when I swear he was the devil. He looked different. That it was just, oh God. I couldn't move. I couldn't speak. It was just weird. And I remember I started, not like boo-hoo crying, like I'm just paralyzed. I can't say nothing but tears, just because I know he's telling the truth. He was ever going to believe me. Because back then, at that time, nobody had ever called me a junkie, though. Up until that point. That was the first time I'd ever heard anyone with my own ears. It was always just a drug addict. Nobody had ever called me a junkie to my face. And when he said that to me, it just paralyzed me. And I remember tears. And I remember him coming and he wiped them and licked them anyways. And when he turned around, I just took off, never went back. He would text and everything, try to get me to come see him, and I finally blocked his number. There's hundreds. I know you're gonna say, Brandy, I would almost bet my life, not hundreds, thousands of victims from the 80s up until recent that are victims of his, and nothing has ever happened because if somebody says anything again, because of who, and for the most part, he's always preyed on very vulnerable young girls, women, where something tragic has happened in their life, where they're really not pillars of the community. They're not really, society looks down on them, Nobody's going to believe them. I mean, like he said to me, he could have beaten me, raped me, killed me, and nobody would have believed. He knows what he's doing. But I just, after seeing that, and this girl, showed her name, she told everything, and I know the girl's telling the truth because of what she said in it, because of the same. It's how he done me. It's how he's done so many other victims. I just hope and pray that finally, because there's a lot of things that are coming out finally in Walker County with deaths and this and that, and people are not just sweeping it under the rug no more. And the thing is, he's always had a beautiful family. Beautiful wife that was a nurse. I think she retired anyways. I used to just look at his wife and want to be her. Like, just a beautiful, great family. He was all, this in the community. But behind closed doors, I swear, the devil. I've never met nobody. He was the devil. He is the devil. He'll get up and preach every Sunday morning, looking out at his congregation, trying to find his next victim. Anyways, good morning, happy Monday. I just need to get that off my chest. I'd give anything to see him behind bars. I'd give anything. Anyways, I love y'all. We got TikTok shop stuff.
That's heartbreaking, to say the least. I fully believe everything she said. And one thing that makes it so believable is we know for a fact that is exactly how Walker County and Sheriff Nick Smith treats drug users. They don't treat them as humans. If they're unalived or go missing, they do not investigate them at all. Not at all. And it is very troubling to me that he made that statement to her, because it makes you wonder. Not only, okay, we know he's a child predator, but it makes you wonder, is he responsible for some of this other stuff? It wouldn't surprise me. That statement, very troubling. Because he knows that that's the way they treat any drug users there in that county. And you don't even have to be a current drug user. If you were an addict 20 years ago and then something happens to you, they write you off. It's unbelievable. I want to show a picture so everybody knows what this creep looks like. So that's him. That's Joey Vick, the Walker County coroner. The preacher. And unfortunately, the child predator. And you know, back to him making that statement is very troubling. And again, makes you wonder, is he behind some of the other unsolved cases? Some of the unsolved missing persons? Did he do something to them and then they threatened to tell and he did away with them? Now, I'm not saying that happened, but it makes you wonder. And what's most troubling about that and concerning to me is him being the coroner. So he's responsible for half of that investigation himself. And let's just say, and again, I'm not saying this has happened, just for the sake of saying it as an example. Let's say he was behind some of that. It'd be very easy for him to just rule it, hey, oh my God, somebody just said it. Or the people he ruled were self-unalivings. I'm telling you, this gets so deep and so crazier every single week. But him making that statement to her, and now us knowing his past, and us knowing all the other stuff that's been going on in Walker County. And you've heard me before any of this came up, how many times I've said, and you've heard Secrets True Crime, Criminally Curious podcast, Michael Fleming, Amber Sitton, all say how many people's lives were taken and they would immediately rule them as they took their own life. Numerous times when there would be absolutely zero indication that that happened. They tried to do it in Eric Cates' case. They ruled that he took his own life. Thankfully, the AG's office stepped in and investigated and now have arrested, at least 4 people for that? And there was no indication that that's what happened. It makes you wonder. Because I can't tell you how many times I've thought no investigator in their right mind would even suspect this person took their own life. Like that doesn't make that doesn't make any sense. That they burned themselves and their puppy. What? And how many times have I said, I would bet a lot of money that there is a serial, and I can't say the freaking words, but TikTok's ridiculous. And it'll kick us off. But serial unalivers. How many times have I said, I would bet a lot of money there's at least one of those around Walker County that's responsible for half of these people? I'm telling you, I'm almost positive. I'm not saying Joey Vick is that. I'm saying I would not be surprised at all if that's what happened. Is that if we do find that out, though? Because, man, I don't believe in coincidence. I believe in patterns, and I follow patterns. You all know that. And this is shaping up to be one hell of a crazy pattern. This man's evil. He's evil. Anybody that could do that to a child, anybody that could even say that to what he said to Brandy, this piece of shit is an evil, evil excuse for a human. And he, for years, has been the one responsible for determining if you're dead, if you took your own life, whatever the case may be. All right. I think my team found the phone call that I've not heard, so let's listen to that.
All right.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Calling from Bishop Hart. This is Ryan Cagle. I just saw your email telling me.
Okay, so this is Ryan Cagle. This is a phone call, and they just identified themselves as Ryan Cagle. He is one of the others that's named in Joey Vick's lawsuit.
To call you?
Yes, sir, Ryan. How are you, my brother?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Well, I'm just working for the Lord. How about that?
Yeah. Hand to the plow.
So apparently, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but apparently Joey Vick started telling people that he retired from the ministry, that he just retired from it. And so this is proof that that's not what happened. Allegedly, we'll see.
It's pleasant. Sometimes it's pleasant, and sometimes it's not.
I totally understand. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I can confirm to you that Joey Vick is no longer a credentialed minister of the Church of God.
Yes, sir. Thank you for that. I know this. We saw that he had retired or posted about retirement, and
Yeah.
And then I had somebody, this young woman, reach out to me who we had some previous conversations. she's not had a very easy life, and
You know, if she wants to write out a statement, if that'd be easier for her.
Yes, sir.
And just sign it. She's not alone.
Right.
So it's not like she's going to be targeted for being the only one. If she'd like to come in, you know, and talk to me, she probably won't feel very comfortable doing that. She may feel more comfortable just signing a statement and just putting her signature on there.
Yeah.
If it's just a generic statement, that's not going to do any good, Brother Ryan. Because you know you don't take anonymous.
Right.
It's anonymous until somebody puts their name to it.
You're right.
And
Yeah.
I understand her apprehension, but at this point, she's not by herself.
Right, and I think that's why she was willing for me to ask me to reach out, was because she being a single, just to end.
Yeah. So to be clear, this is, I think, as Helen just said, this is a call from the Church of God State Overseer. So, like, this is like, I guess, the head of the Church of God for the state, for Alabama.
Individual, she was worried that it'd either get swept under the rug or no one would believe her, or she could get targeted. And she, because again, you know, the stuff we had heard, I didn't know that was true. She didn't know if it was true or anything like that, but she just thought if there's other people who have come forward, then maybe she should, and it would be safe for her to do so and helpful for her to do so, so that
there are other people that have come forward.
Right, and
I can tell you that, and due to that fact, he did voluntarily surrender his license.
Oh, okay.
But I think it's deeper than just the surface stuff we see now.
Yes, sir. Yeah, and
I don't have proof, but I think that it is.
God, it makes me sick at my stomach, Bishop Hart. I'm gonna be honest with you. I had a hard time her just telling me the story, you know, because you want to believe victims out the gate, and then when there's it gets a little more serious, Bishop Hart, because she told me it happened in his coroner's office.
This is not the first statement I've heard from something that happened in his coroner's office.
Right, and
she's not alone.
Right,
and if she feels more comfortable just writing it out and signing it, he's not going to be any more guilty of unbecoming conduct as the first complaint.
Right.
That he admitted to. But what it does go in his record, so that if I'm no longer in my position and somebody else comes in my position and he wants to pastor again, first thing that man's going to do is pull his file, and he's going to see it all in there.
Yeah, we got enough people driving people out of the church to have somebody.
We do. And really, he does not need to be in the pulpit again.
No, sir, he does not. He does not.
If she would just write it out and sign it, you can scan it and email it to me. She don't even want to come in here. You can mail it to me, and if you could do that, she needs to be very detailed.
Yes, sir.
I'm not trying to say I want to read ugly material, but the more detailed she can be, the more credible it is.
Right. Correct. Yes,
you know
sir.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. I totally understand.
I'm a minister. It turns my stomach just like it does yours.
Right. Yes, sir.
But if she just says, well, I was in his office and he made advances to me. Okay, well, what does that mean?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Does that mean he kissed you? Does that mean he hugged you? Does that mean he fondled you? Does that mean he blocked the door and lifted you? What does that mean?
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well,
she would need to somewhere put in there it was non-consensual.
Right.
Because I'm sure she didn't approve of what he was doing.
Right.
You know, because then he come, well, that was consensual. She came on to me.
Right.
You know that kind of thing. You don't know, that kind of stuff. But you just, man, I tell you, it does. It just turns your stomach.
Approximately 3:30 this afternoon, our plainclothes.
Wow. that bishop has received numerous complaints against him, you could tell. He kept saying, she's not the only one. I mean, they'd say, yeah, it's not the first time I've heard that. I'm afraid Brandy may have been correct in at least hundreds of victims. All right, we know he's a child predator. He's in a position of power, an elected official, and also, at that time, a minister. It doesn't take long, many times, that you've gotten away with it. And you're already in these two positions of power. And then you're constantly getting away with it. All that does is make him feel free to do it a lot more. That empowers him to say, I can do this all I want to whoever I want. And I'm good. Nobody's going to bother me. And that is exactly what has been happening for, according to Brandy, over 30 years. You could tell that bishop has heard a lot of things about him. Because he was very adamant in make sure she is specific, because I want to make, that bishop literally was saying, I want to make sure he is never in a pulpit again. Yeah, good point, Ashley. You can tell by what he said to Brandy's mom about the baby that he feels untouchable. Yep. Especially once Nick Smith became sheriff. He's the coroner. One of his best friends is the sheriff. Those are the two responsible for doing all the investigation. All the investigating in the county for serious crime. And it is now, to me, very clear that Joey Vick, number one, is a child predator. An evil, evil, sick excuse for a human. And as I said a while ago, there's no telling what he's done. There is no telling what he's done. Again, this makes my mind go in all different directions of starting to put this whole pattern together. This is crazy. He felt so powerful that he decided, You know what? I know how to shut the rest of the victims up that keep coming out. Because when he filed this lawsuit against Ivy Trotter and Ryan Cagle and the church, that's when a lot more, according to this bishop, a lot more people started speaking out. And he knew that. And he thought, well, if I sue her, the rest of them are going to be even more scared to come out. Yeah, they're definitely. Yeah, exactly, Helen. There's more victims, and are not all children. No, he's done this to a lot of females, possibly males too. I don't know that I've heard that yet, but it wouldn't surprise me at this point. But definitely a lot of females, children, and adults. Okay, it's one thing. Let's think about the child victims. It's one thing for this horrible thing to happen to you as a child. That's devastating, sticks with you the rest of your life. And I don't know, but I would suspect, and I may be wrong, but I would think it happening by someone that you fully trusted, someone that was literally in the pulpit preaching to you on Sundays, your preacher, in a church where that should be the safest place you could be. I would think that would probably make it even more hard to deal with. Now take those two things and then add on top of it that it was also done by the coroner. And in the coroner's office. Which is a whole other thing. The more I think about this case and Joey Vick and all this, the more fired up I'm getting. This man needs to be in prison. What a piece of shit. My God. I mean, I'm not going to say that out loud, what some of you are saying, but it wouldn't surprise me. I don't have any evidence of that at all yet at this point, but it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, there's nothing worse than doing that to a child. Just not. But I mean, with him at this point, yeah, nothing would surprise me. I'm telling you, I've been saying for over a year now there is a serial person in that county. There's too many missing persons. There's too many unsolved unalivings. And the fact that most of them were literally not investigated at all. Don't forget, there was one unsolved unaliving that there was literally not even a picture, not one picture taken of the crime scene. Not one. Nothing. Absolutely nothing exists from that case. When you put all that together, it starts feeling more and more credible. Maybe Joey Vick's responsible for a lot more than we even know. Again, I'm not saying that is a fact, but I'm saying it definitely makes you wonder and question it. And honestly, up to this point right now, tons of people has been saying for a while that law enforcement's involved in a lot of these and that Nick Smith's involved in a lot of these or whatever. And I've never given that a lot because until I have some type of evidence that shows me that, I'm not going to say that. Because, number one, I don't want to think that has actually happened. I don't want to think that law enforcement themselves could be responsible for some of these. And so until I have some type of evidence, it's just not something, it's not a narrative I'm going to push at all. And I haven't. Now, I have pushed a little bit that I have some speculation that Nick Smith is involved with one of the missing persons because he was allegedly having a relationship with them. And again, a missing persons case that's not been investigated at all. Just nothing put into it. But up until this point, I really didn't put much into that theory. But again, now I'm really starting to wonder if Joey Vick is responsible for a lot more than just SAing people. Oh, a lot more than one, Tracy. Tracy said one girl walked in the woods and has yet to be found, just vanished, I guess. A lot more than one. I mean, we joke about it at times, but we're being serious at the same time. That's what happens. The amount of missing people in Walker County that the last person that allegedly saw them walk into the woods and then they'd never been seen again is staggering. It's a lot more than one. Wow, I'm telling you, I'm thinking a lot of things now. And I keep going back to that statement he made to Brandy. That's a very telling statement. Very telling. And you can't sit there and say that knowing what we do know about Joey Vick and the crimes he's committed now, these sick things that only a true evil person could do. I mean, talking about a grown man immediately pouncing on a 13-year-old girl that had been having a very rough time in life at that point and had just lost her father. And he immediately pounced on her and immediately started grooming her. I mean, immediately. And then did all these horrible things to her for the next few years. You're telling me that he's capable of that, but he's not capable of him doing that to somebody and them threatening to tell on him and him making sure they can't tell on him? Because he knows he's the one that's going to be called out there to determine it. I mean, think about that. This is the guy that's been doing that. This is unbelievable. That the coroner is responsible for the stuff that we know he's responsible for. I've never been more concerned than I am at this point right now in that this whole pattern is way deeper than I ever thought. And what do we keep hearing from everybody that talks about him? From his victims to just people that know him to people in the community. What's the one thing we keep hearing from all of them? Well, we knew he's been doing it, but nothing ever happened to him. How many people have we heard say that? All right. Let me pull. Hold on, let's see. Hold on. Bear with me for 1 second. Well, there we go. Speaking of unsolved missing persons, a great friend of mine and well, she's also part of my team, but she has put out a new podcast, and it's great, and it covers a case, a missing persons case out of North Alabama, and let me bring this up so you can see it, because I want you all to make sure you go check it out. So the name of the podcast is Time Tells All. And this first season and on episode 3 now, and I've listened to all the episodes, and they're this is a great podcast. You don't want to miss this podcast. You will be drawn in from the very beginning. But they're covering the case. They're investigating the case of Jennifer Powers, who went missing in 2008. Like I said, in North Alabama, and has never been seen or heard from again. But you can find this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you find your podcast. Again, the name of the overall podcast is Time Tells All. And start listening from episode 1. Monica does some amazing, great interviews with all the people she's interviewed so far. She's interviewed the victim's sister, mother and father, and some others. But it's a great podcast, very informative of the Jennifer's last days that she was seen, all that stuff, and things that have happened since. But they're doing a full investigation into this and digging into this, and it's a great podcast. I'm telling you, it's up there with one of my favorite podcasts now. But make sure you go check that out. That's Monica Sweeney. But the name of the podcast is Time Tells All. So go over there, jump on Spotify, follow them, so you'll be updated when each new episode comes out. And again, check out, make sure you listen to the first 3 episodes. And I promise you listen to 5 minutes of the first episode, you're drawn in, and you're going to want to listen to the rest of it. So go check that out. And then, other than that, I hope you all have a great rest of your night. I can't tell you how much I truly appreciate each and every one of you. It means a lot to me. All your support, your encouragement. We're doing big things, and I can't do any of this by myself. I need all of y'all. So I really appreciate all your support. And my team, I know they're behind the scenes, but I couldn't do any of this without them. They're amazing. I can't say enough about them. Make sure, if you're not following me, make sure you hit the follow button, or if you're on YouTube, the subscribe button. If you're not a subscriber on my YouTube channel, and again, you can find me on all the platforms under Agent D Baker. Facebook is just my full name, Derek Baker, D-U-R-E-K, Baker. But I have a business page over there as Agent D Baker. So you can find me as Agent D Baker on all the platforms. But I'm trying to build up my YouTube, so please go over there and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And that's also one of the places where you can, because I do a full podcast, and that's one of the places you can catch my full podcast episodes. But you can catch my full podcast episodes on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast. So make sure you go check all those out. And what else was it? Oh, we just, about a week ago, we finally got an X account up. So if you're on X, make sure you go follow us on X. And again, it's Agent D Baker. But I really appreciate all that. And all I ask you to do is listen to my podcast, watch my videos, watch them all the way through, like them, share them, repost them. And if you can, comment on them, all those things help push them out to the algorithms to where more people can see them, which brings more awareness to the cases we're covering. And if there's anything at all I can do for any of you, don't hesitate to message me. You can either message me on any of the platforms, or you can email us at agentdbaker315@gmail.com. That's agentdbaker315@gmail.com. And if there's any way I can help you, I will. And if I can, I'll tell you I can't. Now, if you message me on any of the platforms, it may take me a while to get to your message because I get a bunch of them. But I do personally eventually get to all those messages. If if you have messaged me before and I've responded back and was supposed to get back with you and I never did, please don't take that personal. Just please message me again. Because I know a lot of those have slipped through, and it wasn't purposeful though. So just message me again. It won't aggravate me or anything. And I'll make sure to try to get back with you. But again, the best way to get me to make sure that I see it and respond is going to be the email, agentdbaker315@gmail.com. And we are getting we're working on our website right now. Putting a lot of work into it. We put a lot of work into it today, and hopefully we're going to have that up and running soon. I just don't know exactly when, but as soon as we get our website up, I'll be releasing my courses, and the first big course I'm going to release is called Predator Proof, and it's going to be for parents, teachers, law enforcement, and teaching you how to keep your kids safe from predators online and in person. A lot of it will be about online though, and it's going to be a very in-depth course that's going to teach you everything, exactly how these child predators work, how they groom. I mean, all of that. And I'm very excited about getting that out. And I think it's going to be very helpful. And obviously my hope is it actually helps children from being a victim. But it's definitely going to teach you how to make your child a hard target versus a soft target. So, and then after we get that course out and live, I'm going to be working on more and go from there. But I'm really excited about all of that. We got a lot of things in the works. Just takes time. So, but we're getting there. But we're doing big things, and I'm very excited about it. And I have so many big plans. I mean, when I dream big, and this is already bigger than I ever thought it would be. So I know it's going to get to where I eventually want it, to where we're going to be able to help a lot of people. And from my original plan, and it's still my plan, is I'm going to, once the finances get there, I'm going to have hire an entire full-time investigative team, and we're going to be going out and investigating all these cold cases, missing persons, unsolved unalivings, all that stuff. And I think that's very needed for sure. But anyway, big plans, and I need all of your help for that. So follow me, share my stuff, tell your friends, family about me. And most importantly, I just can't tell you how much I appreciate all of you. But I will be back. It's not Monday. I will be back Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Central on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook. And then Friday nights, my lives are at 9 p.m. Central. So make sure you catch those. But I'll see y'all back Wednesday night.
Welcome to Truth Recon. I'm Agent D. Baker, former narcotics detective, SWAT team member, and U.S. Navy combat veteran. With years of real-world experience in high-stakes environments, I've seen firsthand the dangers that lurk both in our communities and now increasingly online. Before this show begins, understand this. What you are about to hear may be disturbing to some audiences. This podcast contains explicit language, dark themes, and real conversations that are not suitable for children and may be triggering for some individuals. If you choose to continue, do so knowing this content is intended for mature audiences only. Discretion is advised.